The idea for Virtually Fearless started when I bought an Oculus Rift, a virtual reality head-mounted display. I immediately saw its potential for simulating real life, but in particular for simulating fearful situations. I wondered, if virtual reality could induce genuine fear within its users, then could it help someone overcome them? This question became the driving force for the project. But why bother? Specific phobias are quite prevalent. The National Institute of Mental Health estimates that approximately 13% of U.S. adults suffer from a specific phobia in their lifetime. Exposure therapy is a common way to treat these fears and phobias, but it comes with a few physical limitations. Virtual reality could make exposure therapy safer, more customizable, capable of guaranteeing patient confidentiality, and easily repeatable. So it sounds like a worthy case, but then how do we test it? Fear is always met with a physiological stress response, and the amount of stress is directly proportional to the amount of fear an individual experiences. We needed to determine if virtual reality could induce a stressful response. We measured heart rate variability, the number of milliseconds in between your heartbeats, to determine stress levels. The more varied the time between heartbeats, the more relaxed the individual. Heart rate variability is typically more consistent during stress because the heart is preoccupied with preparing the body to deal with the threat. To measure heart rate variability, we used a pulse sensor powered by an Arduino Uno, worn on a glove. The participant wore the pulse sensor on their finger like a band-aid. The sensor shined a light into their finger that could detect blood flow based on how much light was reflected back. We chose to induce stress by creating two separate virtual simulations. The first simulation had users exposed to spiders while they sat in an enclosed room. Small, black spiders were on the desk in front of them, on the ceiling above them, and on the floor behind them, while a large spider circled around the room underneath their feet. The second simulation had users stand and walk across a virtual plank that stretched between two tall buildings. In the real world, they were simply walking a small ways across the floor. We also designed a control environment in order to help users become acclimated with the equipment and establish a baseline for their unique heart rate variability. During our deployment, we asked students coming and going from classes to help us with research. They first signed a consent form and proceeded to wear the pulse sensor while taking a survey that asked them about their virtual reality experience and any specific fears that they possessed. Once the survey was complete, they were immersed into the control environment for approximately 2 minutes while we decided which stress-inducing simulation to place them in. They were then exposed to either the heights or spiders simulation. Once complete, their heart rate variability was exported for later analysis. We collected 41 sets of data. These graphs showed two of our participants' results. The person to the left did not have a fear of heights, and the person on the right claimed that they did. The graphs above indicate the length of time that each individual wore the pulse sensor. The bottom graphs are zoomed-in regions of the participants' stress-inducing simulations. Both of these participants circled that they had 0 prior experiences with virtual reality. Both of their heart rate variations during the control simulation were varied and inconsistent, which shows they were more relaxed. However, the fearful individual showed a much more consistent heart rate variation during the height simulation than the person without. This indicates that the latter participant received more stress than the former. After analyzing all the data sets, we believe that virtual reality has the potential to aid in exposure therapy. Our participants' heart rate variations often became more consistent during stress-inducing simulations. However, we can't say for sure if the stress response from virtual reality is identical to that which a person would experience from real-world stimuli. More research must be done in this field to better understand virtual reality and its future potential to help individuals overcome fears and phobias.